Hello everyone, welcome back to Elite Tales. Here we discover the emotional and captivating stories about Elon Musk. In this video, we will capture the heartwarming moments of famous entrepreneur. Before we begin, I request you that please subscribe our channel for more interesting videos. It was a cold, rainy evening, the kind where the streets glisten under the glow of the streetlights, and the steady patter of raindrops fills the air with a melancholic rhythm. Elon Musk, known for his innovative mind and tireless work ethic, had just finished a long day at Tesla's headquarters. He was driving home in his sleek electric car, lost in thought about future projects and deadlines. As he approached a quiet intersection, his headlights caught something unusual: a small figure crouched near a lamppost, barely visible through the heavy rain. At first he thought it was just a pile of leaves, but as he got closer, he realized it was moving. Intrigued, he slowed down and pulled over to the side of the road. Stepping out of the car, the cold rain hit him instantly. He pulled up the hood of his jacket and walked toward the lamppost. To his surprise, it was a tiny kitten, shivering and drenched to the bone. Its small frame was huddled against the post, trying to escape the cold, but the poor thing had no shelter. Elon crouched down, his heart aching at the sight. "Hey, little buddy," he said softly, his voice barely audible over the rain. The kitten looked up at him with wide, frightened eyes, its meow weak but filled with desperation. Without a second thought, Elon removed his jacket and gently wrapped the kitten in it, shielding it from the rain. He could feel its tiny body trembling in his arms as he carried it back to his car. As he drove home, Elon glanced at the kitten nestled in his jacket on the passenger seat. It was so small and fragile, and he couldn't help but wonder how it had ended up alone in such harsh conditions. "You're safe now," he said softly, as if reassuring both the kitten and himself. When he arrived home, Elon carefully brought the kitten inside. His spacious house, filled with the hum of modern technology, suddenly felt warmer with the presence of this tiny creature. He placed the kitten on a soft towel and gently dried it off, taking care not to hurt it. Once the kitten was dry, he prepared a small bowl of warm milk. The kitten hesitated at first, but eventually started drinking, its tiny tongue lapping up the milk as if it hadn't eaten in days. Elon watched with a smile, feeling an unexpected warmth in his chest. That night, he made a makeshift bed for the kitten using an old blanket and a cardboard box. The kitten seemed to sense it was finally safe and quickly fell asleep, its small body curled into a tight ball. Elon stayed up late, researching how to care for a stray kitten. Between his busy schedule and responsibilities, he hadn't expected to take on this new role. But something about the kitten's helplessness had stirred something deep within him. The next morning, the rain had stopped, and the sun peeked through the clouds. Elon woke up to find the kitten exploring its new surroundings, its tiny paws pattering against the hardwood floor. Seeing it so full of life brought a smile to his face. Despite his packed day, Elon made time to take the kitten to a nearby veterinarian. The vet confirmed that the kitten was healthy but undernourished. "She's lucky you found her," the vet said. "A night like that could have been fatal for a kitten this small." Elon nodded, feeling a mix of relief and determination. He decided to name the kitten Nova, inspired by the idea of a new star, a bright light in the darkness. Over the following weeks, Nova became a part of Elon's life. Despite his demanding schedule, he found himself rushing home to check on her. Nova, in turn, seemed to sense the care and love Elon provided. She followed him around the house, her tiny paws clicking against the floor, and often curled up on his lap as he worked late into the night. Nova's playful antics brought a sense of joy and calm to Elon's otherwise hectic life. She would bat at loose wires, pounce on stray pens, and even sit on his desk, watching him as he typed away. For someone who had spent years focused on innovation and progress, this small creature reminded him of the simple joys of life. One evening, Elon shared Nova's story on social media. He posted a picture of her perched on his desk, her bright eyes full of curiosity. "Found her in the rain a few weeks ago. She's been a star in my life ever since," he wrote. The post went viral, inspiring millions of people. Messages poured in from all over the world, people sharing stories of rescuing animals, offering tips on pet care and thanking Elon for using his platform to highlight the importance of kindness, even in small acts. Inspired by Nova's impact, Elon decided to take it a step further. He announced the launch of a new initiative to support animal shelters and rescue organizations. Every life matters, no matter how small, he said during a press conference. Sometimes, it's the smallest things that make the biggest difference. The initiative quickly gained traction, raising millions of dollars to provide better care for stray animals. Shelters reported an increase in adoptions as people were moved by Nova's story. Through it all, Nova remained by Elon's side, a constant reminder of the unexpected joy that can come from a simple act of kindness. On one particularly busy day, as Elon prepared for a major presentation, Nova climbed onto his shoulder and nuzzled his cheek. He laughed, feeling a rare moment of pure happiness. "That's right, Nova," he said, stroking her soft fur. "You remind me to keep things in perspective." As the months passed, Nova grew into a healthy, playful cat. She had become a symbol of hope and compassion, not just for Elon but for countless others inspired by her story. 1 year later, on a similarly rainy evening, Elon found himself looking out the window, Nova perched beside him. The sound of raindrops against the glass brought back memories of that fateful night. He thought about how one small decision to stop and help had not only saved a life, but had also changed his own in profound ways. With Nova purring softly beside him, Elon realized that sometimes the most meaningful moments come when you least expect them. And in those moments, a simple act of kindness can light up the darkest of nights. The rain outside continued to fall, but instead of the somber, lonely feeling that often accompanied such nights, there was a quiet warmth in Elon's heart. Nova stretched her little body on the windowsill, her tail flicking lazily, as if she too was reflecting on how far they had both come. Elon reached out and gently scratched behind her ears, earning a soft, contented purr. "You've taught me something, Nova," he murmured. "Life isn't always about the big plans or the monumental achievements. Sometimes it's about the small, unexpected moments that remind us of what truly matters." The next morning, Elon decided to visit one of the animal shelters his initiative had helped. He wanted to see firsthand the impact Nova's story had made. The shelter was bustling with activity. Volunteers and staff were busy caring for the animals, and the air was filled with a mix of barking, meowing, and the soft chatter of people. A young boy and his mother stood near a kennel, beaming as they held a small puppy they had just adopted. An elderly man was gently stroking a cat that had found a new home after months at the shelter. The sight of these connections filled Elon with a profound sense of fulfillment. The shelter's director greeted Elon warmly and led him on a tour. "Your initiative has transformed this place," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "We've been able to expand, provide better medical care, and find homes for so many animals. It's incredible how one story, your story with Nova, has touched so many lives." Elon smiled, his mind flashing back to the rain-soaked kitten he had found that night. It was humbling to think that one small act of compassion could ripple outward in such a powerful way. That evening, Elon returned home, where Nova greeted him with her usual enthusiasm, rubbing against his legs and chirping in her unique way. He scooped her up and held her close, her soft fur brushing against his face. "You started something beautiful, Nova," he said, "and I promise to keep it going." As he settled into his favorite chair with Nova curled up on his lap, he opened his laptop and began drafting a new project proposal. This one wasn't about rockets or electric vehicles, but something closer to home, a global initiative to connect people with stray animals in need of care and love. He called it Project Nova, a tribute to the tiny star that had illuminated his life on that rainy night. The program would use technology to create a network of shelters, foster homes, and adoption services worldwide, making it easier for animals to find loving homes. Months turned into years, and Project Nova grew into a global movement. Celebrities, businesses, and everyday people joined the cause, united by the belief that every life deserved a chance. Stray animals found homes, shelters received funding, and awareness about animal welfare reached new heights. Through it all, Nova remained at Elon's side, a constant reminder of how one moment of kindness could change the world. She became a symbol of hope, appearing on posters, commercials, and even a children's book Elon co-authored to teach kids the importance of compassion. One day, as Elon watched Nova play in the garden, he thought about the legacy he hoped to leave behind. It wasn't just about advancing technology or colonizing Mars. It was also about leaving the world a kinder, more compassionate place. And it all started with a tiny, shivering kitten in the rain. As Elon sat in his garden, the gentle rustle of leaves and Nova's playful pounces on a fallen twig brought a sense of peace he hadn't felt in years. The world outside his estate was buzzing with news about Project Nova and its remarkable success. Yet, in this quiet moment, it was just him and the little cat who had changed his life in ways he hadn't anticipated. Nova had grown into a graceful and confident cat, her once fragile frame now strong and vibrant. She had become a fixture in Elon's life, her antics bringing laughter to the often intense and demanding atmosphere of his work. Tesla engineers joked that Nova was their unofficial mascot, and she even had her own spot in the office where she liked to nap during meetings. One evening, Elon received a letter. It wasn't from a government official or a tech giant, but from a young girl in a small town. The handwritten note was simple yet heartfelt. Dear Mr. Musk, I wanted to thank you for what you've done for animals like my dog, Star. We found her through Project Nova. She was abandoned and scared, but now she's part of our family. I don't know if you'll ever read this, but I hope you know how much you've changed our lives. Thank you for helping us find her. Elon held the letter in his hands, feeling a swell of emotion. It wasn't just about the technology or the scale of his achievements. It was about moments like these, knowing that someone's life had been touched in a profound way. As the years went by, Nova became a global icon. She traveled with Elon to conferences and events, her story inspiring millions. Children across the world read bedtime stories about the little kitten in the rain who changed the heart of one of the most influential men on Earth. Animal shelters saw record adoptions, and new legislation was passed in several countries to protect stray and abandoned animals. Nova's impact went beyond just inspiring others to adopt pets. Her story ignited conversations about empathy, responsibility, and the power of small actions to create big change. Elon often reflected on this during his speeches, sharing how Nova reminded him of the importance of staying grounded and connected to the world beyond his ambitions. One day, as Elon prepared to leave for another major event, he noticed Nova sitting quietly by the window. Her once vibrant energy had begun to slow with age, her movements more deliberate and her gaze softer. He knelt beside her, stroking her fur and whispering, "You've been with me through so much, haven't you, Nova? You've taught me more than I could ever put into words." Nova purred softly, leaning into his touch. It was as if she understood the depth of his gratitude. Years later, after Nova had passed peacefully, Elon established the Nova Foundation, dedicated to animal welfare and fostering compassion in communities worldwide. The foundation became his lasting tribute to the small kitten who had taught him that even the most extraordinary lives are built on simple acts of kindness. Every New Year's Day, Elon would take a quiet moment to reflect on that rainy evening. He would visit shelters, play with the animals, and share Nova's story with anyone who would listen. It wasn't just a tradition, it was his way of honoring her legacy and reminding the world that sometimes the greatest innovations aren't in technology but in the human heart. Nova's spirit lived on not just in Elon's memories but in the countless lives she had touched, proving that one act of kindness could truly change the world. Years after Nova's passing, Elon found himself once again walking through the streets on a rainy evening. The soft drizzle against his face brought back vivid memories of that life-changing night. The city was alive, bustling with activity. But Elon's thoughts were with Nova and the lessons she had taught him. As he passed a quiet alley, a familiar sound stopped him in his tracks, a faint, trembling meow. He turned toward the sound, his heart racing with recognition. There, huddled under a pile of cardboard, was a tiny kitten, drenched and shivering, much like Nova had been all those years ago. Elon crouched down, extending his hand gently. The kitten hesitated for a moment, then took a cautious step forward, its large, pleading eyes locking onto his. Without a second thought, He scooped the kitten up, wrapping it in the scarf around his neck. "This feels like déjà vu," he murmured, smiling softly. He carried the kitten home, his heart swelling with the same sense of purpose he'd felt when he first rescued Nova. Once again, the small act of saving a vulnerable life reminded him of the interconnectedness of all living beings. At home, the kitten quickly adapted, finding warmth in the space where Nova had once curled up. Elon decided to name her Star, a nod to the bright future she symbolized. Star brought new energy to the house, her playful antics filling the spaces that had felt empty for so long. Elon often spoke about Star during interviews, sharing her story as a continuation of Nova's legacy. The Nova Foundation expanded its reach, launching programs to support stray animals in urban areas and educate communities on responsible pet care. Shelters received funding to create more welcoming environments, and mobile clinics were set up to provide free veterinary care. One day, Elon stood on the stage of a global conference, Star perched calmly on his shoulder. Addressing the audience, he spoke about the profound impact animals had on his life and how their unconditional love had shaped his perspective. "Innovation isn't just about technology," he said, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. "It's about finding solutions that bring us closer to each other and to the world around us. Nova and Star taught me that every life, no matter how small, matters." The audience erupted in applause, moved by the sincerity of his words. People from all walks of life began to share their own stories of rescue animals, creating a wave of compassion and action across the globe. In his quiet moments, Elon often found himself reflecting on the legacy Nova and Star had left behind. Their stories were a reminder of the beauty in small acts of kindness and the way they could ripple outward, touching countless lives. Each New Year's Day, he made it a point to visit shelters, spending time with the animals and sharing Nova's story with the volunteers and adopters. It became a tradition, not just for Elon but for people worldwide who had been inspired by his journey with Nova and Star. In the end, it wasn't the rockets, the electric cars, or the cutting-edge technologies that defined Elon's legacy. It was the simple, powerful act of extending a hand or a scarf to those in need. And as he looked into Star's eyes, now bright with joy and trust, he knew that the real innovation lay in the bonds we create, the lives we touch, and the love we share. As years passed, Star became a symbol not only in Elon's personal life, but also in his professional world. Employees at Tesla, SpaceX, and his other ventures began volunteering at animal shelters and supporting causes aligned with the Nova Foundation. Office spaces became pet-friendly, fostering an environment of compassion and connection. Star, with her sleek fur and curious eyes, often accompanied Elon to meetings, reminding everyone of the values she represented. Elon's connection with Star also deepened his commitment to the planet. He launched initiatives focused on creating sustainable habitats, not only for humans but also for animals. Parks were developed with integrated shelters for strays, and cities adopted urban designs that considered the welfare of wildlife. These projects, inspired by Nova and Star, reshaped communities and sparked global movements of environmental stewardship. On a quiet evening, as Elon sat on his porch watching Star play under the soft glow of the stars, he felt a profound sense of gratitude. The journey, which had begun with a chance encounter in the rain, had transformed his life in ways he could never have imagined. Nova and Star were more than pets, they were his teachers, guiding him toward a life of purpose and connection. With a smile, he whispered to the night, "Thank you, Nova. Thank you, Star. You've shown me what truly matters. Thank you for joining us on this heartwarming journey of compassion, hope, and change." This story reminds us that even the smallest acts of kindness can spark the greatest transformations. If this touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Together, let's spread positivity and make the world a better place. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.